is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black? She's the one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the
as African American. But does thinking something make it so? If Donald Trump identifies as African American, would that make him African American? Doesn't he need African American roots? If I identify with a bowl of green cheese, does that make me a bowl of green cheese? Obviously.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. In 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will.
I have a similar story. Many of us do, of some teacher along the way who convinced us we were special. We weren't particularly special. And it put us on a path to then being here together to make a decision about who might be the next president of the United States.
Back at it like a crack addict, automatic like a fomatic, built from tragedy, made from static. It's your boy Perfect Timing Podcast with the blast, back real fast. And we back with another episode in this episodic journey. Then we going all the way, y'all, to Funky Town, all the way down. And we riding that train. Come on, ride the train and ride it. Come on, ride the train and ride it. Y'all gotta do the pump. Would you do that? Come on, ride the train and ride it. Good time today, man. Buckle up your seatbelts, man. Get your libations, man. Everybody, we're gonna have a good time as we react to Donald Trump and how he reacted to the hostile treatment. I think he did a great job. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all think Donald Trump did. Let's get into the content.
I think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. Historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term funding. It's a very rude introduction. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your
On behalf of the Perfect Timing Podcast, I want to say to you, Mr. President Trump, I apologize for I don't take responsibility or accountability, but I do apologize for the way that you were treated on their late and tardy and unprofessional demeanor. And I would also like to extend a thank you for even showing up to just remind people how much you do care about Black America, ADOS, FBA Americans, and what you've done so far for them and why they should vote for you. And taking the time out to actually do it in person says a lot. No for Donald Trump, and I want to say thank you. And so far, so good. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. We're going to keep the reaction going.
I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined.
No, you didn't define it. She did not define it, and I don't think anyone actually knows what it is, because I'll tell you right now, from the perspective of an ADOS male, diversity, equity, inclusion does not include me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I have yet to see a male ADOS hire that would apply to diversity, equity, inclusion. Every discussion about DEI has been about women of color. I have not seen one ADOS male, FBA male, who has benefited from the DEI policies. Let's keep going. And she did not define it, and I believe she can't define it because there is no definition, and she doesn't want to come out and say it is designed to help women of color. So yes, Kamala benefits.
I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
The message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black.
I love it. I love it. Very quickly, very concise. Anyone who has a job. What is a black job? Anyone who has a job. And the people coming across the border are coming for your job. Bottom line. And what you will hear is that no one can disagree with that fact. Anyone who has a job, 15 million people illegally come across the border, your job is in jeopardy. Everyday working people, he don't have a job. His kids don't have a job. His kids don't have. Shout out to Dame Dash. Is anybody listening? I said Donald Trump don't have a job, don't need a job. His kids don't have a job, don't need a job. His kids will never have and need a job.
They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And when
we're in a pandemic of people in financial trouble, much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, but it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a
Did you? I mean, come on. How it couldn't get worse? Did you think he thought he would come to the black Walmart version of a Zoom call? You know what I'm saying?
disaster.
This makes no sense. This is the black Walmart version of a convention. You know what I'm saying? The microphones ain't working. They 35 minutes late. A hostile Biddy in the front. Why is she in the back? I mean, I know they probably made jokes about the fact, hey, Dad, you gonna go to Living Color to do an interview with the journalist? He shows up, and I know he was hoping that it wasn't going to be in Living Color, but it turns out to be CPT in Living Color, Martin Payne, the NABG convention.
Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country, and we have money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
You
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake. Just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial. And yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I
know
chose
everybody
him
out there can, but it's
I'll
hard
tell
to
you
hear.
why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction.
I didn't know that about J.D. Vance. Sound like a great story.
And to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my
but
point
at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives?
What's going to happen to
My
the
question
people
is
that
on
tried
those
to burn
rioters who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Would
answer.
you pardon
What's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those-
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day
I
one
agree.
if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do I do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me, she's a gasoline, oil under our feet than any other country, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So
Thank you guys for tuning in for another hot episode for the Perfect Time Podcast. That was a live reaction from the NABJ Summit just yesterday. Donald Trump, you did a great job. I want to start off by saying I apologize for that tenor and demeanor of those rude individuals being late, unprofessional. I want to say thank you for coming in person and addressing the issues of the adults American. Shout out to Donald Trump, man. Hey, keep watching. We are on the road. We are on the train. Come on, ride the train and ride it. We are on the train. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the share button. Watch this video and then hit the playlist to watch all of the videos in this episodic adventure journey we're going on for the next 94 days to find out who will be the president of the United States. I'm out.